This lesson, we're going to review the importance of risk management, and I hopefully can convey this to you in a way that you understand just how important it is. It is probably the most important thing that you will learn throughout this course. It does not matter, and make sure you listen to this closely, it does not matter how well you learn the concepts within this material and how well you execute it if you cannot manage your risk. Because you could make millions of dollars, size up, take too big a position, or not cut the loss and lose everything. As a matter of fact, you've probably already lost everything in your account a time or two. And if you haven't, you probably will. It's just the unfortunate side of trading that most people have to learn. And I shouldn't say most, I think everyone has to learn it, because it is mathematically impossible for you to succeed at trading if you do not manage the risk. I will say that again. It is impossible for you to succeed at trading, whatever that looks like, if you do not manage the risk. Okay, so what am I talking about? And you might have seen these type of charts. I just Googled them, and you know, it's pretty common knowledge. But if you're new, or if you just haven't really thought about it, I think this will help you. But essentially, we're looking at an account balance of 10,000, and it's a chart on the left here that's showing you the percentage loss. If you break this down and you go, and they've got it broken down into 5% increments, all the way down to losing 95% of the account. And what they're saying is, if you lose 5% of the account, you now have $9,500. So you're trading with $9,500 as opposed to 10,000. And if you want to get back to 10,000 to break even, to restore that loss, you now have to make 5.26%. Okay, which makes sense because you're starting from a deficit. Now, as you progress lower, if you lose, look at some of these numbers, if you lose 50%, you now have to make back 100%. But now here's where things get kind of silly. When you lose 75%, you now have to make back 300% just to get back to even. But look at the difference. Now watch. When you lose just 5% more at 80%, you now have to get back 400%. And you can see how it just starts scaling out of control to eventually where you have to make back 1,900% to get back to 95, or sorry, if you have a loss of 95% and get back to 10,000. So what this is saying is, the more that you do not manage the risk, the more that you allow your trades to go against you into drawdown, percentage-wise, the more difficult it is exponentially to make that money back and get back to even. Okay. Now, traders, I think, lose for basically maybe 2 or 3 reasons, but there's a couple big ones, and obviously the big one is not using a stop loss. If you're someone that is not using a stop loss, you should just stop doing what you're doing and forget about trading, because you have no chance of making it. I will repeat that. If you are the type that trades and you put money into the market, you don't take it seriously, you don't respect the money that's in your account, you're essentially gambling like a casino, and you're not dealing with the reality that that money over time, maybe not on that trade, but it will go to zero or near zero. You will lose nearly everything. Your account will blow up. Then you will end up in this bottom dark blue box where you're down 80 to 95%, if not more, of your account. And there's nothing you can do about it. And you're going to be regretful. And you're going to probably be like, man, why did I do this? And you have to start over. And some of you are going to go through that a lot of times until you figure out, you know, I have to start using a stop loss. Now, think about what is happening mentally that you are choosing not to use a stop loss. And it really comes down to, you don't want to be wrong. You don't want to lose money. Your ego is in your way, and it is telling you It's trying to protect you from loss. And unfortunately, this is a game, or this is an industry that you are going to lose. It is inevitable, which brings me to the right side of the chart here. The right side is showing you the probability of losing consecutive trades within 100 trade sequence, okay? What is the probability that if you have a win rate of 50%, okay, and most traders that are decent, most futures traders are going to fall within this bracket. Now, if you were to think about this, this is a distribution curve, okay? And I don't even know, it's probably more, how can I draw this? More like this. Yeah, something like that, right? If we were to draw a bell curve, something like that. So most people are going to be within, this range, give or take. And there's very few people here, and most people are somewhere in here, right? But in reality, a lot of people are going to be between 30 and 60%. And the better traders are going to be up here. The worst traders are going to be down here. But you can see if you're somewhere in this bracket, so let's just say you're in the middle, you're at 50%, you're going to lose. You basically have a 100% chance that you will lose 4 in a row. And all the way down until you get about a coin flip that you could lose 7 times in a row. So 50% of the time you can lose 7 times in a row. Now, you can still make money if you deal with the reality that you're going to lose that many times and you stop out in a fashion that you can stay somewhere in this upper box so that you have a chance to get back and be profitable and your account go up. All right, if you start getting below this 33% number, it becomes really, really hard to make it back and to become profitable for that period of time. It just becomes difficult. So you should really try to avoid leaving this first box, this 25% box. You need to stay in there, because if you start delving into the depths of drawdown, it's just almost impossible to come out of, especially when you have a win rate somewhere in the mean, somewhere in this area. Okay, the further up you can get, if you can somehow get to 60 to 80% win rates, which I'll say in the futures world is pretty rare, you could probably sit somewhere between 60 and 70, and then consistently. It's going to be difficult if you're managing your position correctly and you're dealing with the drawdown and managing the risk. Sitting in 60 or 70 is extremely good for the futures world. And you could get by and maybe trading stocks, because you're not typically going to lose everything if you just buy a stock and you're not using leverage. But now if you use leverage, things are amplified. It's exponential. And in the futures market, you are using an astronomical amount of leverage, just when you really think about it. The S&P 500 contract, to trade it unleveraged, would require somewhere around $300,000 in your account to not use any margin or any leverage, okay? So you need to think about that. You are going to lose everything once you're trading leverage, and you most certainly are trading leverage if you're in the futures world. It's just built into the system. It is how it is, because most people can't afford to trade an unleveraged futures position. It just requires too much money. Okay. So if you've been sitting in trades and you're watching them go against you, and you just see it trickle, and you start leaving this box and you're going to the next and the next, etc., you have to start thinking about, what could I have been doing with my time? Could I have been taking all these other trades? And my answer to you is yes. I am guilty of it. I have done it many times, where I will be in a losing trade, not cut the trade, not let the stop work, or worse, not even put a stop. And then you're losing, and then you're in drawdown, and you start making excuses for why, you should stay in it. And then it goes against you, and it continues, and it's working its way down this graph here, and you're getting into the depths of drawdown, and eventually you say, okay, I will stop, I will cut this trade, and then you end up somewhere in this lower tier, and you're distressed, you're stressed out, you're depressed, your mood has changed, things are, you're sad, whatever, you just feel like an idiot because and maybe while you're sitting in the trade, you picked 5 other trades and you saw the market behave and you're like, yeah, this is going to probably do this, and then it does. And you know why you were better at seeing it? Because you didn't have an attachment to it. You weren't in that trade. You can probably get decent at calling trades and seeing thinking where the market will go, but then once you attach a monetary value and you've got skin in the game, things start changing. Your execution changes. And unfortunately, if you don't manage the risk, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how good you are at anything else. It will trump everything else, and it will take you out of this game faster than any other flaw that you have. So, think of the opportunity cost. There's no reason to sit in a trade that's doing poorly because you're waiting for it to come back. You should just get out of the trade and move on to the next one, because if you can keep this somewhere in a reasonable percentage, you have a good chance of making that back and then some. And then that if you can get your win rate somewhere to a realistic number, somewhere in this area, okay, if you can somehow get to that level of performance, you have a really good chance of overcoming this first box and watching your account grow and grow and grow and grow, okay? I don't know how to stress this to you. It's the most important thing I'm going to tell you. You have to deal with this. You can't sit in losing trades if you respect money, okay? If you want to gamble, go to the casino. Do something else, okay? Don't sit in these bad trades and not deal with them. It's stupid. Especially say you have a family and you have people that depend on you financially, okay? And your goal is to maybe do this for a living or to supplement your income, significantly, and you have people depending on you, especially people that you love. You can't just half-heartedly pursue this. You can't just throw money down and just say, oh, well, let's see what happens. You can't throw your entire account and put it at risk when you got people depending on you. You will lose. The stress is going to get to you, and it's going to make you make bad decisions. And then you're going to be hating yourself, wishing that you would have just done things differently and been smart about it. And it's all because you didn't want to lose, because in reality, you care more about yourself than you do the people around you that love you or that you're responsible for if you're in that position. And you can't do that. You have to care more about them than you do yourself. And it's a weird way to think about it, and it's not something you're normally going to hear, because caring more about the other people says you will take the loss and do what is necessary so that they survive and that they have a life that is better than yours, okay? That's essentially what you have to get into your head. And it's unfortunate because most people don't ever get there, okay? Most people, they believe this lie that you can make millions and millions of dollars and get super rich in a short amount of time just if you do these certain things and you learn these patterns and you learn these chart setups and you learn to read the chart in a certain way, you will be fine. And while that might be true, they're not telling you this part. They're not telling you this lesson where you will lose everything, and none of that stuff matters if you don't handle this one thing. You don't deal with the risk, okay? You need to listen to this lesson multiple times if you're struggling and you don't get it. You have to have discipline, and you have to tell yourself, I'm going to do this. I don't care what the outcome is. I don't care if I lose, because I know I'm going to lose. I have to handle this. You have to get a grip. You have to make the decision that there are other people in your family, and you all have a family, I hope, or at one point you did, but there's other people that you care about. And if you're going to do this for a living, those people matter more than you. Okay, that's just how it is as an adult. That's just how it is. And if you're young and you're maybe in your early 20s and you're not at that stage in your life, you will likely get to that stage. But you should go ahead and adopt that thing now. If you don't have kids, maybe you have a parent, and you don't want to see that parent struggle later in life because you care about them. And at some point, you'll probably have to take care of them. Well, then your goal should be taking care of them more than yourself. Okay? And in doing that, you'll start to see that I don't want to lose 50% of my account or whatever number. You know, it's not worth it, because it makes it that much more difficult. So you have to not be selfish. Trading in a weird way, when you think of it that way, it's about not being selfish. It's about caring more about the people around you, in that you have to have a reason as to why you're doing this, you know, and you have to preserve yourself and your family. I mean, it's just the way I think about it, and I think a lot of it, I think it will resonate with a few of you that are a little older, and maybe you have family or you have children and people that depend on you, whoever that is, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. They depend on you, so you have to perform. And the only way that you can perform at your best is by dealing with the risk, dealing with the drawdown. Because you can look on this chart and look, okay, it does not matter. Even if you are at a 75% win rate, you will still take 3 or 4 losses in a row. Probability will say over 100 trades, which you might make in a week or you might make in a month, that you will have 4 of them in a row that are losers. Well, let's say the market is moving against you. Let's say you're here and the market is moving against you, and it's a period in the market where it's highly volatile and you don't deal with the risk. You will almost certainly be in this category over here. And you can see how difficult it is to come back from that. It's really difficult to make 100% in a year. It can be done, but it's really difficult, okay? And this is at a 75% win rate, okay? You're like in the top. If you can consistently hit 70, 75%, you're like in the top 10% of traders probably, if not higher. You're probably in the top 5. You might even be in the top 1% if you can consistently do that, okay? But it doesn't matter. It really doesn't even matter if you're in the 95%, because what is the probability of losing one trade at 95%? Well, you're going to lose 1. You're going to lose 2, 22% of the time. Well, that means 2 out of 10 trades are going to be consecutive losers. And what happens if you don't deal with it? You've seen how the volatility in these markets can be. If you've been watching the charts for any length of time, and you realize, oh, if I take this position and it's too big for my account size, you know, if you're trading the NQ, for example, and you have a $10,000 account and you let the thing go 200-300 points against you, well, you've blown up your account, and you're somewhere down here, and you've got people that depend on you, and you can't recover from it. So now you have to quit, and you have to go work a job, and you have to save up or whatever, or you have to reload money into the account and do it again. And it will become a cycle, and you will either quit and do something else, or you'll just keep losing money. Okay? You know, I've done both. I've taken breaks. It happens. Okay? You'll want to quit. I'm just telling you right now, if you can't deal with this and you can't fix this problem and let your ego go and make this more about other people, that it's more important that you succeed for their sake than your own, than yours alone, you will have a difficult time letting the ego go, getting rid of it, getting past it, and just dealing with what needs to be done. Because as a futures trader, it's inevitable. You have to. There's no way else to say it. I don't care what you think. I'm telling you the truth. You have to deal with this. You have to stop letting your positions do whatever they want the market does. You can't do that. And if you're going to be that type of person, you're wasting my time, and more importantly, your time, and you're wasting your family's time. Everyone you care about that depends on you, you're wasting their time, and you're wasting their money, and you're lowering their quality of life because of yourself, because you don't want to be wrong. And it's just sad, okay? I'm just going to tell you how it is. You have to deal with this, okay? All right, I know this lesson was lengthy, almost a sermon that I'm preaching to you, but it's just so important, okay? I just want you guys to realize there's so much nonsense out there that you're listening to or that you've been subjected to, and it's all marketing to get you to behave a certain way and purchase products, and they never tell you, and they never talk about this and reiterate how important this is and put it to you in a way that hopefully resonates with you so that you take the steps and you say, when I come to the market, I care about my risk first. Keeping my account in the green and staying afloat so that I can trade tomorrow is more important than how I feel about taking this little loss right now. That's all that matters. Okay? Everything else is just how you learn to take trades. Learning to cut trades is not something that's easy to teach because you have everything inside of you mentally preventing you from doing it. So you have to just decide that you're going to do it and do it, okay? I don't care what excuse you make up. It's not relevant. There is no excuse. You have to do it, okay? So take this, listen to this multiple times if you need to, and you need to figure out how to fix this problem if you have it, and you most certainly have it. You're never going to get away from this. You just have to constantly fight it and deal with it, because there are people in this world that matter more than you, and those people are important to you. All right. I hope this helps, and I'll see you in the next one.